Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we've got two powerful late game civs on a map designed for late game in the hands of two great late game players, as Sora Kuma, playing as the Mongols in red, gets ready to duke it out with Hera, playing as the Ethiopians in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables explore their immediate KFC surroundings and try to get their butts up to feudal, probably Castle Age ASAP, because today we find ourselves enclosed on Arena. Not a bad time for us to quickly take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. So either a bit of a ribs or fried chicken today in terms of sources of food for the players, but in any event, let's take a look. The Mongols, an incredibly fast cavalry-centric civilization. Their scout line units come with extra line of sight, which on a map like this, where you're looking for relics, not a bad thing to have. Their cavalry archers fire 25% faster than normal. Their scout line units and their steppe lancers automatically get more and more HP as the game goes on, 20 and then 30% in Castle and in Imperial. And their unique unit is, of course, the Mangadai, a fast-firing, quick cavalry archer with a super cool attack bonus against Siege. Now, to keep up with this very fast army on the field of battle, Mongol siege units can actually be upgraded to move 50% faster. If you've never seen the drill upgrade in action, I hope we get to see it today, because it does make them look like little bumper cars bumping around the map. It's pretty damn cool. And that helps support their military endeavors. Their hunters work 40% faster than normal, and their houses can be upgraded so that they don't lose any population space if and when they get destroyed. And when you're playing against Hera, chances are one or two houses might get destroyed. Speaking of, let's take a look at the man who's chasing the chickens, playing as the Ethiopians today, a civilization designed to kill its opponents ASAP, as fast as freaking possible. Ethiopian foot archers are the fastest firing foot archers in the game. Their onagers, their scorpions, their rams, and bombard cannons can all be upgraded to have an even bigger blast radius. And their unique unit, the Shotel warrior, is a lightning fast, incredibly strong, but on the whole overall fragile infantry unit that only trains in 4 seconds once you upgrade it to its elite form. That helps strengthen their army. Both their Shotel warriors and their camels can be upgraded to take less damage from all mounted units. And when I say all mounted units, I mean it doesn't have to be melee. Could also be ranged mounted units. So a pretty damn good upgrade to have against a mounted civilization like the Mongols. Now, to support their military endeavors, every time the Ethiopians go up in age, they get 100 food and 100 gold for free, which I'll talk about in a second. Means Hera doesn't really need to allocate any villagers to gold, because once he hits feudal, he'll have the 200 gold he needs to go up to Castle Age. They also get the pikeman upgrade for free, which saves them about 300 resources in the Castle Age. And their economy can be harder to raid because their outposts can be placed all over the map. Not only do they come with a +3 boost to their line of sight, which is pretty big, but they also cost 0 stone. Everyone else has to pay stone, a little bit here, a little bit there. For their outposts, the Ethiopians, they just have to pay a bit of wood. So there's literally no excuse for Hera not to dot the entire map with outposts, especially if he doesn't scout. Although, who are we talking about here? Of course, he's already seen 1, 2, 3 relics. How many has Sora Kuma seen with his very external Mongol mill? A little bit of alliteration there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one has he not seen? The one that's right just north of his mill. Hera, for his part, is going to discover this one. No, this is part of me. He's already seen that one. Which has he not seen? So he hasn't seen the 2 here on the left side of the map. One very sour, kind of right here. In any event, why am I so fixated on relics? Because we're on Arena, as I mentioned. So a few things to look out for. Before we get into that, though, generally Arena follows 3 phases. In the first one, the players rush, not to the Yayo, but to the Castle Age. Once they hit Castle, stage 2 begins. They build monasteries. They get their monks out, or warrior priests, I guess, if you will. And then they fight over these relics. Once all 5 relics are taken, stolen into the various national museums of these nations, then stage 3 begins, where the players start building their armies, heading up to Imperial, and then basically clashing their units against the units of their opponents to see who has the better army, who has the better micro, who has the better eco to support clash after clash after clash. Because on Arena, man oh man, can it sometimes ping pong like a pendulum. I guess I could have said swing like a pendulum, back and forth, back and forth. And like I said, these are 2 very late game civilizations. And here we go. Sora Kuma is trying to herd his chickens. If you're not familiar with this, definitely look it up on YouTube. This is a new method of bringing the chickens to you, because the chickens Look how adorable they are flapping their little wings. That's really cool. So the chickens kind of move a little bit here, a little bit there. They don't move too far, but if you place a blockade, let's say the chicken was on the left side and was moving to the right, instead of obviously can't go through a unbuilt gate, so the computer makes him go all the way around, which is why you saw the chicken here on the right. Wait a second, so something's happening here. I'm talking about chickens. Has Hera discovered? No. Okay, so he has seen the mill. Well, no, you can't. As I was saying, in Arena, generally you don't get loom, which means Hera might actually risk it against 3 villagers. Although he's not exactly in 1 second, he's going to be in feudal, which means his scout has better stats and a stronger attack, whereas these villagers are still stuck on 25 HP. Oh my god, Hera dives in. He gets a villager. He waited for feudal to attack. Brilliant. So the attack on a scout jumps from 3, as you can see here, the Mongol feudal Dark Age scout, to 5. And when you've got a villager with 25 HP and 0 armor of any kind, it only takes 5 wackadoos of the sword to kill that villager. So Hera, not something we see every day, but when you're watching the world's best player, no pig, no villager, no chicken, no deer, no boar, no one is safe on the map, including your own scout. So Hera kills a villager, Hera kills a pig, Hera loses a scout, and now his opponent's in the feudal age. So as I was saying, if you block the path of a unit, everyone who plays the game kind of knows this. If you block the path of a unit, the computer will find an alternative path for it to go. And so that's why sometimes on Rage Force, you see boars crossing the entire map because somebody plugged up the route to their ancestral hunting grounds. And this chicken, instead of being able to go from the right to the left, had to go north and then got caught. So that was pretty cool. So look, we're 11 minutes into the game. We're already seeing some pretty cool things, including Sora Kuma now getting another patch of chickens. Are these chickens still segregated, by the way? Yeah, look at that. You double click, you only get the black chickens. You only get the white chicken. You only get the brown chickens. How come that's the case? I don't know. It's still a little weird to me to see that. In any event, as I mentioned, we are firmly on the way to the end of stage 1 of the game. Both players minutes away from Castle Age. Let's take a look at their internal resources. A couple of things you want to look at on Arena. How far are these internal resources from the walls? Which means how easily can they be lamed by your opponent. So this gold might be a little bit exposed here to some Mongol range. But Hera, yeah, he's got a couple of safe patches here to the back. Also, what you want to look at is the expansion. Interesting. Okay, this must be a new patch fix upgrade sort of thing. I'm not sure I've ever seen a random patch of 6 berries just in the back of an expansion, but Hera's got a bit of an expansion to the north. Sora Kuma's got an expansion to the south. Unfortunately, berryless in Seattle is our Mongol. And so, to be fair, his resources are a little bit safer with his primary goal to the back. And then the next thing you want to look at is location of these external resources. Everyone's got gold and stone outside their main base. How easily are they lamed, etc., etc., and whether any trees form part of the wall off. I don't think that's the case for anybody. I don't like trees forming part of the wall off forests because they can easily be taken down, especially when your units have torsion engines like the Ethiopians or drill like the Mongols. Any patch of forest can be taken down instantaneously. Hera double expansion here. Wastes all of his stone. No, I shouldn't say wastes, but spends all of his stone. No one yet interested in any kind of monastery play, at least not Hera. Let's take a look at our Mongol. There it is. Hidden here behind a barracks, a stable, and a house. Okay, so one player is going to be trying to get the relics. The rest of the wood has been spent on a second town center, so Sora Kuma's economy will be down a little bit. But to be fair, these are not exactly two civilizations who have the most powerful economic features. Again, Hera didn't even need any gold miners just because he's Ethiopians. He gets 100 food and gold for free every time he goes up in age, which is something. It's not amazing in terms of any kind of long-term... it's not like the Aztec carrying more. It's not like the Romans with their 5% faster villagers. It's not the Hindustanis with their discounted villagers, but it's something. On the other hand, faster hunters do help you click up to the next age faster, although Sora Kuma, having lost that villager, actually clicked up to the next age slower. Okay. And for those of you into a little bit of Age of Empires ASMR, nothing like a bit of a relic from the past attacking a stone wall. Very much a stone wall if you take a look at it. So what's the name of the game? economic expansion here for our Mongol as well. So as I mentioned, these are not two civs that have very powerful late game long-term economic features, unless of course I'm missing something and forgetting something, which is quite possible. Hera still no monastery. Hera, by the way, sitting on 0 army. Sora Kuma has gathered his first relic, although it kind of looks like a second relic, as I only see 3 white dots on the map. Are these the Mongol monks? Pardon me, I see 4 white dots on the map. This is a Mongol monk? Doesn't that look a bit more Mesoamerican to you? Very interesting. Okay, I mean the feather headband, the war drum, that strikes me as like a Aztec, Inca, Maya monk as opposed to a Mongol monk, but hey, that's just me. First relic is making it home to Ulaanbaatar's National Museum here. Come on, yeah, that's not a Mongol monk. Come on. Oh, I do like his formal dance shoes. Looks like tap shoes here. Let's take a look at it. No. Hera, by the way, making no attempt to go anywhere out on the map. That being said, Sora Kuma making absolutely no attempt to punish that kind of defensive play. I don't see any outposts. You usually want to put a couple of outposts around your opponent, at least to see, especially if you're playing Hera, and this is your line of sight. This is what you see. I mean, there's literally nothing being built next to the stone wall. Hera is playing as close to the vest as he possibly can. This is a poker player who comes in it with a hoodie, with sunglasses that are not reflective, like that time Kim Kardashian played poker in reflective sunglasses and everyone could see her cards. No. Hera's got his headphones on. He's got his hoodie. His opponents have no clue. Does he have a pair of aces? Does he have a 2-7? What the hell does this guy have? All we see here is a villager. We don't see anything else. In the meantime, a university going up. Does he have a second structure to go up to Imperial? No, he does not. He also doesn't have any of the resources. Let's see how Sora Kuma is going to play this, because the last thing you want to do is let either of these two civilizations get up to Imperial with impunity without punishing them in any kind of way. And here we go. Siege Workshop right away. And there we go. The outpost. So he's going to see a little bit of a farming community. On Arena, here's kind of my feel of things. Agree, disagree, let me know in the comments. If your scout is here and you're seeing the front, there's no point to this outpost. Put him in the periphery, put him in the corners so that you can actually see what's going on. Put him right here, and then you'll be able to see at least, maybe, I guess if you upgrade enough, you'll be able to see some of these structures, whereas this outpost doesn't really tell you very much. I also like the fact that he's blocking Hera in. One of the 3 gates that Hera has is no longer operational. Again, this is not the best location, but it's a little bit better, I think, than this one. And there's also a 3rd outpost here being built. So Sora Kuma is going to have eyeballs on his opponent. He's already training a Mangonel. Not too sure why just a Mangonel on its own. He has no real follow-up. He's doubling down on the wall-offs, although triple wall-off compared to no extra wall-off here. Maybe build the houses on this side if you're so afraid. But this is kind of a weird play. On the one hand, he's playing incredibly defensive, shoring up his defenses here next to the monastery, which is very forward-facing. Could probably move it back here. On the other hand, he's pretty aggressive, trying to, you know, soft contain. This isn't exactly a hard contain. There's no units here. See a couple of pair of monks versus a pair of aces, and Hera's heading up to Imperial. There you go. Sora Kuma nowhere close, unless he's already clicked up, but he has 200 food in the bank. I love this. This is the best thing you can possibly do on Arena. Force your opponent to either have to destroy a house or destroy one of their own wall segments if they ever want to leave the house. And there you go. This is why I always say shove in the outposts into the corners. And now all of a sudden Sora Kuma's vision is a little bit better. He sees the barracks. He sees the pardonnez-moi, the triple archery range. And if you're going against the Ethiopians and they're going archery ranges, and by the way, you also, I think, see the Siege Workshop. 4 archery ranges. Okay. Then you best get your units in order, and you best get your own archery ranges. Because the Ethiopian Arbalester, and oh yeah, we're definitely going to see Arbalester with the crossbow upgrade being researched. Oh, it's a machine gunner. I think it might actually fire as fast, if not faster, than a Mangudai. Although with 7 villagers on stone, maybe we'll see a Mangudai. Well, here's something you don't see every day. 25 minutes in with a Hera, a pair of feudal age archers attacking an outpost at the 25-minute mark and him heading up to Imperial, but there we go. Now they're crossbowmen. So they naturally fire 18% faster. He has not gotten Thumb Ring yet. What he has gotten is a few more monk kills, but the monk does get a conversion. Doesn't last very long on the field of battle, and down goes the entire Ethiopian army. Oh, he's countering it with skirmishers. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to meet your very expensive, very powerful archer unit with my very cheap counter unit. Okay, let's see how that works out for our Mongol. More and more flags being raised on these structures, and Hera. Yeah, it is Hera. Okay, I was wondering if that was Hera. I can't really tell, right? No, never mind. There's blue bands around here. Yours truly. I guessed right. It was a pure guess. Hera is plopping a castle and going to lame. Immediately, he needs a bunch more, or he needs to stop this. I'm not sure if he can with skirmishers. That's the one thing. They're so good at countering this, but they're so bad at countering that. Look how little damage you do, but I'll pop a bunch of mangonels. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, still not fully upgraded. Villagers are chasing mangonels. Mangonels are firing on villager. Hera loses 2 more vills. Hera's lost 7 villagers. But I think it's kind of worth it because the castle looks like it's about to go up, or will eventually go up. He's also pressing into the front here against a Mongol castle that he will see. As cool of an attempt as that was to stop this construction project, unfortunately Sora Kuma has failed. His army count is now half of his opponent's. And I don't think a basic mangonel is going to be good enough to do much here. Yeah. Couple more skirmishers. Now, to be fair, Hera will get the castle up, but at the cost of a lot of units. In the meantime, this got canceled. I'm assuming Hera moved his arbalesters forward and was attacking the villagers. Castle's up. By the way, first time I'm seeing an Ethiopian castle. Pretty darn cool. A lot of mountain themes in the castles. There's that Shotel warrior shield. And there are those scythes that they're holding. Why is there a bow and arrow here? Your guess is as good as mine. But let's zoom out. Apologies for all the zoom-ins. And Hera has taken firm control of the center here. Another castle in the forward position. There's Thumb Ring being completed. Watch. Look at this speed. 1.45 second delay. That's bonkers. That's less than 1 human second. Remember, games are played. If you see the bottom center of your screen, Age of Empires games are played at 1.7 seconds. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me the logic behind it. I don't know why 1.7 and not 1.6 or 1.9. But when your unit fires at 1.45, that's literally faster than 1 per human second. And look at them. This is why I call them machine gunners. It's just ridiculous. But on the other hand, speaking of fast firing, we're getting a couple of Mangonai out on the field. Treb already out, both players in Imperial. Sora Kuma does have a villager lead, but Sora Kuma does not have a map presence lead anymore. And Hera presses in. There's a lot of focus on this one siege workshop, which I'm sure Hera is loving, since it gives his units here a chance to bombard these Trebs while the castle is safe and pumping out Trebs of his own. This is where perhaps a row of houses here would have helped a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. The puncture wound has been made, the needle has cracked the skin, and in comes the Ethiopian army. 33 arbalesters. Sora Kuma's got nothing. Sora Kuma is housed. Okay, his Trebs are trying to take down the bombard cannons. Hera is putting his units behind the houses, making it harder for us to see. Now, what do the Mongols do here? I mean, you can go siege of your own. You don't exactly have the gold for it. Actually, yeah, you have 4 patches of gold here. Looks like a decent amount of gold. This really is like the tortoise and the hare. Oh, Hera losing 2 of his bombard cannons is sour AF. But there's torsion engines. Torsion engines for his, I guess, non-existent siege. I don't think it applies to trebuchets. It's just Andres Rams, Scorps, and bombard cannons, which I think probably who's kidding who? We're going to see bombard cannons. Okay, he's got to pump out a lot of these units because even with map control, Hera can't afford to trade out pure Arbalester to pure skirmisher. By the way, how many archery ranges do you have? 8 archery ranges is pretty damn good. It is pretty damn good. He might want to get these relics back. If you're giving up map control, and it looks like there was a bit of an attack here to the north, we'll keep an eye on this. The Rams have popped out. But here comes that Shotel warrior. Look at that attack, 16. But so damn big. Oh, there's siege now. Is Hera going to be able to save the castle? Drum roll, please. Nah, it looks like a castle will be saved. I don't think one ram is going to be able to knock this down enough, not with so many villagers repairing it and Shotel's attacking. A valiant attempt. But my point was, if you've given up map control, but you've got the 5 relics, at least take the 5 relics. And it looks like Hera tried to pull a Mr. Yo here and teeth the relics from underneath the nose of his opponent. Not exactly Warwolf Trebs with blast damage, but they are enough to push away these Ethiopian Arbalesters. Do I spy 2 more archery ranges? 9 archery ranges now up for our Mongol. Why is he going Mangudai? Oh, I'm not too sure about Mangudai right now. They need a good open field to operate, and especially when you've only got 3 of them not up against 21. But it looks like the skirmishers and the Trebs are doing a decent job. That was a pretty nice bombardment there. This is where you do, if you notice your opponent's bouncing between here and here, this is where you just attack round right here and hope that they move. But Hera's he's no spring chicken. This is not his first time at this rodeo. Boom, 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 go the flaming balls. The chlamydia balls of Age of Empires as they miss their targets. Boom, 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 they go again. Monk is healing. Here we go. Shotels are moving forward, but the Mangudai pop out. Okay, so maybe that's the point of the Mangudai, is to stop the Shotel, stop the Bombard. They do come with a decent attack bonus against Siege. And Sora Kuma is holding, but with a little H. Because look at Hera's resources at the top right of your screen. Look at Sora Kuma's resources. And he's just now getting handcart, which will help. I mean, Hera's had handcart for a while. He's getting handcart. He needs more skirmishers. This is where, I mean, it may sound like a noob move, but this is where you want like 40 to 50 skirmishers just, and then hope that the Shotel warrior count stays low enough. But to be fair, even with 40 skirmishers, that's enough to probably one-shot a Shotel warrior. Look how weak they are, 45 HP and 0 base armor. Trebs are hiding in the back. They do not want to risk it, not when his army count is so low. I should say expensive army count is so low, but Hera is picking off whatever target he can. It doesn't matter if it's a villager, doesn't matter if it's a farm, a house. He is picking them off one by one. What a place to place a new monastery, literally on the opposite side of the street. This is like when you go see a Starbucks on one side of the street, and then you walk 2 seconds and see another Starbucks. Kind of cannibalization. I mean, again, I don't think this is a Mongol monk. This, again, looks very Mesoamerican, North American native to me. But whatever. Little bald old man with a book and a crook is no more. And to be fair, Hera is he's kind of slowing down a little bit here, but that's just so that he can gather more army. And here they come, the Mongol horde. No, 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 why? Move the Mangudai back. Okay, picks off the monk. Treb is not doing too much. Bombard cannons are not doing too much. They're opening up space, which I'm not sure really you want to do against the Mongols at any point. What is it, 118 HP Hussars might pop out? You never know. I mean, Hera's vision isn't exactly fantastic here. He doesn't see the inner recesses. He also hasn't seen any of this here on the northwest side. But that was just absolutely brutal. The Arbalester Bombard Cannon combo just slaughtering the Mongol army. Mangudai count is going up to 20. But again, I'm not sure this is what Hera wants to be doing right now. You want choke points. You've got the better ranged unit. And you're making more space for the Mongol to surround you? I don't know. I wish I could ask Hera why he's attacking the wall segments. I guess it just, I've said this before, pro players really live by the expression that the idle hand is, what is it? Idle hands are the devil's playground. They just don't like not doing things. They always have to be doing things, even though if it's to their detriment. Because right now, if 20, even not fully upgraded, but if 20 Hussars with their 30% more HP pop out, Hera's gonna get pressed back, but You don't need onagers to flatten a bunch of units. Not when you've got freaking torsion engine bombard cannons. But the Mangudai are chasing. It's going to cost them their life. Nomad. Okay, so now these destroyed houses are not going to lose population space. So interesting upgrade to get once you've already lost half your houses, but whatever. Torsion engines on a BBC, by the way. Take a look at the blast width. It's a full freaking tile. A full tile. It goes from half a tile to basically a full tile. And now Hera's comfortable. His Treb is moving into position. The castle is going to get bombarded. And no more games. Hera wants to end this. Sora Kuma. He had a good 6 or 7, 8 minutes to defend against this. Unfortunately, could not stop the tide. But let's see. Isn't there a new... There's a new movie now, right? Called Hail Mary. Let's see if Sora Kuma can pull a rabbit out of his hat. Another castle goes up. We'll see how long it lasts against all these bombard cannons. But Hera's busted in. And now he's pulling a yo. Tiefin relics in the middle of the battle. To be fair, Hera's gold count is very low. He just sold 2,000 food, so his map control, if you look at the mini-map, doesn't actually extend to the gold. That's pretty interesting. The gold up here, the gold down here, that is all Sora Kuma. Hera's had a gold. There's an opportunity here for our Mongol, and he is going Hussars. Now, that is an expensive upgrade. That is an expensive upgrade to research, but well worth it. How many stables does he have? 1 stable to pump out. He has enough food for what? 30 plus Hussars? 30 plus Hussars from the Mongols would wipe this whole army out. Now, what do you do here? Do you focus on the bombard cannons? Or do you focus on the arbalesters? The answer is for Sora Kuma, bombard cannons, which means all of his Mangudai are gone. He's got 1 left. 1 is the loneliest number, and Sora Kuma calls it. Transition to Hussars. Ooh, I want to say like 3 or 4 minutes too late. Even 10 Hussars here. Believe me, even 10 Hussars would push Hera back. Especially with a joint Mangudai attack that would focus on these bombard cannons. Hera's out of gold. He's got 200 gold in the bank. And interestingly enough, as I said, with all of this map control, he has, if you look at the mini map, he has got about 90% of the map. The important part of the map, these 3 patches of gold, 1,000 gold here, and 24, so almost 3,500 gold, 3,500 gold. Now he has lamed it, and after laming, the next step is taking, and he's lamed both. Okay, so things are looking dire here. If Sora Kuma could have kept the gold count going, or the gold mining going, maybe. But to be fair, is this the right move? I don't know. I don't think that's the right move. I don't think Mangudai was the right move. Oh, by the way, look at that attack speed, 1.43, 1.45. So they basically attack as fast as Mangudai. I mean, 0.02 seconds divided by 1.7 is literally 1/100th of a second, if my math is probably wrong, but whatever. Now imagine a few more. A stable here, a stable here, a stable here, a stable here, and maybe 2 stables here. Actually, no, not with this wood. Maybe 1 stable here. 4 or 5 more stables. He's got enough for almost 40 Hussars. He could have changed this game with, as I was saying even 3 minutes ago, with 10 Hussars. The upgrades are looking decent. He's halfway there. He's got the armor upgrades. He's still missing the attack, but with the extra HP, don't really need as good upgrades as you normally would. Not with 30% more HP, with 18 more hit points. 18 more hit points on a Hussar against range units is amazing because of their pierce armor. Look at that. 4 pierce armor, and it is 118 HP. Wow. So, was Sora Kuma playing with fire? Yes. Was he playing a little bit too fast and loose with his gold units? Maybe. He had to get rid of this, otherwise all of his structures were going to get destroyed. On the other hand, Hera playing this amazingly. Put his meat shield in the front, and my goodness, when it comes to meat shields, having Ethiopian arbalesters fully upgraded is cool. Quite the meat shield. And then his single Treb, still really not accomplishing much, but his bombard cannons, more importantly, with their 1 tile blast with torsion engines, just absolutely bonkers. Like I said, with that upgrade, you don't need siege onagers. They just need to land a hit or 2, and those are skirmishers melt like butter. One thing I don't understand for Hera, why he created such a broad open expansion, because this is where your cavalry civilization shines. The more open space you have, the more surrounds, the less you can target fire, and the quicker they'll destroy your army. So that's why you usually don't see a lot of maneuvers like this on Rage Forest, for example. So I'm not too sure why Hera was opening up again. I suspect it's just because it's something to do. He had to keep his fingers busy, because that's how you become amazing at this game, by multitasking, microing, and so forth. But Sora Kuma did put up a decent defense, had map control with a little M and a little C in the early stages of the game. I love that Hera doesn't even give a shit about this house. It's still here. The outposts are still there. He doesn't really care about them. I don't know why I clicked the house when I said outpost, because I'm old and my clicking skills they don't have a Z anymore. You know, when you reach a certain age, your skills, they go from a Z to an S, and then you start having back pain and need reading glasses. But in any event, Sora Kuma got the relics, but maybe a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? A little too laissez-faire with letting the Ethiopian get up to Imperial. Now, to be fair, Hera did the same thing with his opponent. He let the Mongols get up to Imperial. The only difference is Sora Kuma didn't have a siege onager to flatten these guys. I like the skirmisher play, don't get me wrong, but he never had enough skirmishers. Maybe against normal arbalesters, definitely not against these. Definitely not against things like Vietnamese arbalesters, but against normal arbalesters, you can afford to have, half of the arbalester count and keep throwing it against them over and over again. But these are so fast. They destroy your units so fast. So both players at one point had map control. Both players with interesting moves. But ultimately, Sora Kuma does hold on for a decent amount of time. The transition to Hussars a little bit late. A few minutes ago, just even 10 Hussars here would have pushed Hera back. Hera would not risk all of these resources, especially with 0 villagers on gold, if he was worried about a Hussar swamp. And even though he's already taken, he's already starting to thief relics. By the way, another monastery for our Mongol. So I don't know where the 5th relic is. No, pardon me, there's 2, and 1 make 5. Yes, I did learn how to count. So let's take a look at the stats. Skirmishers, yeah, you see like this one-on-one, pretty much even. 53 Mangudai to 24 Bombard Cannons, pretty much even. 7 Shotels were adorable. But 6 months, again, this to me doesn't look like a Mongol monk, but whatever. PKPM, oh my goodness, Hera with his usual 200 to 300. Sora Kuma, about half of his opponent's APM. Let's take a look at the kill count. Yeah, look at that, 332 to 129. That is incredible. 48, including probably a whole bunch of houses. The economy, not too dissimilar, about 5% apart. Trash resources going to the Mongols. No big surprise there. He was constrained in his base for the longest of times, whereas Hera got the gold and the stone. But to be fair, not that much more. This is less than 3,000 gold difference. And for a time, Sora Kuma did have the relics. Where am I looking at? Oh, I was in the economy. Yes, look at that. Sora Kuma did have the relics to assist. Without the relics, it's probably like 5,000 gold difference. Stone, you weren't really going Shotel, so the castles were really just positioning more to keep your opponent from being able to mine the gold or being able to, reinforce his army with these 3 archery ranges here. I love the attempt by Sora Kuma. I'll try to get that in picture the beginning of it, how he tried to take down this castle. But even if he did take down the castle, again, Shotel warriors didn't really play that big of a role here. This guy pretty much chilling, 0 kills. This guy is more the hero with his, I guess, Arbalest. Is the name of the weapon. You'd think I'd know these things, but yeah, so much to know. In any event, Hera, given free reign, gets his economy up to exactly where he wants it, gets the upgrades to exactly where he wants them. No horsey upgrades, no camel upgrades, no even melee upgrades beyond forging, because he doesn't need it. He was going pure range. And Sora Kuma, whether by siege onager or by Hussar, or by just massive clumps of skirmishers, just could not hold back the Ethiopian push. Try though he might, and he did a good job. Hera very exposed here. Again, you never know. You don't have vision of your opponent's base. Our Ethiopian committed the cardinal Ethiopian sin of not having outposts everywhere. They don't cost any stone. There's no excuse not to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outposts everywhere, all over the map. Doesn't really matter though. He pushed in, he crushed, he destroyed, and any counter army that came across him died. And so it is Hera, our Ethiopian in blue, who is victorious, but GG in a fun game to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.